This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Friday, the 7th day of August in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. Leader of the People's National Congress and former President David Granger has issued a warning to the governing People's Progressive Party over what he has described as the party's dangerous pattern of aggression since its return to government. In the past few days, a number of government workers who worked in the Ministry of the Presidency have been asked to resign from their positions, while others were locked out of their offices. Former government officials who occupy government houses were told to move with immediate effect. Some others were given 36 hours to pack up and move out. In a statement this morning, Mr. Granger said that PPP appears to be on a vindictive and vulgar campaign that seeks to discriminate persons who worked under the former government.
The People's National Congress warns the People's Progressive Party to desist from pursuing this dangerous pattern of aggression against officials, members of society, and persons perceived to belong to other political parties. The PPP will bear responsibility for the consequences of its conduct.
Mr. Granger reminded that the PNC, which is the largest party in the APNU-AFC coalition, placed on record its acceptance of the lawful consequences that followed the declaration of the election results, although it maintains that the final report included fraudulent votes.
The PNC, like all other Guyanese citizens and organizations, is aware that the results of the general and regional elections held on the 2nd of March 2020 were not declared until Sunday, the 2nd of August, nearly 22 weeks afterwards. Delays in the declaration of results were caused in part by the revelation of numerous abuses, anomalies, and irregularities in the poll, and the appeals which were made to the courts consequently for the validation of the elections during that period.
Mr. Granger also said the coalition will challenge the declared results lawfully, and he has urged the party's members and supporters to continue to conduct themselves in a lawful and peaceful manner. He offered thanks to his party supporters and members for all the support they offered during the elections. The APNU-AFC coalition has accused the new PPP civic government of witch hunting. President Irfaan Ali has promised to govern in the interest of all the people of Guyana and has told senior public servants that they have nothing to worry and nothing to fear and should continue to operate professionally. More news coming up in a moment.
GBTI is your Guyanese bank, a bank that understands every customer's unique needs, opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. At GBTI, we see you for you. Whether you're buying a new home or car, planning your next vacation or retirement, saving for your child's future, or whether you're ready to take that bold step of investing in your dream business idea, we are with you every step of the way. We hear your stories and watch you focus on your dreams as we share your aspirations. We are more than just banking. We are a family. We are part of your community. Our commitment extends way beyond the walls of our branches and is demonstrated every day in the opportunities we provide to our individual and business customers. The support, time, and commitment we give back to communities across Guyana to help improve the lives of our Guyanese families. Because we see Guyana through your eyes.
Tired of long lines? Register with MyGTT at mygtt.co.gy. That's mygtt.co.gy to view and pay your bills from anywhere. Enter to win an Amazon gift card worth $25 or a bounty voucher worth 5,000 Guyana dollars when you sign up today. GTT, do more.
Hi Guyana, it's your boy Kimo Paul here. Reminding you to stay at least 1 meter away from persons or 3 feet to avoid contracting the flu or the COVID-19. It is also important that we stay at home and to avoid gatherings of more than 5 persons. We must all play our part, so let's protect ourselves and our families from COVID-19. We must all play our part. The Ministry of Public Health cannot do this alone, so let's all come together and fight this virus.
For further information, check our website www www.health.gov.gy or visit the ministry's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or Twitter page.
Welcome back. The government wants all political appointees under the former government out of the government system by Monday, and those who refuse to resign will be terminated. In a statement this afternoon from the Office of the President, Minister of Parliamentary Affairs and Governance Gail Teixeira said there is no witch hunting taking place, but there is a need for those who were appointed because of their political allegiance to exit the system gracefully.
I want to assure Guyanese that we are not here to take away food from people's mouth. We are not here to take public servants who have been working hard in the system. We are not dealing with the public servants, whether they're cooks or drivers or secretaries or clerks. If they're political appointees in the system, as I've said, then we are asking them to resign. And if they do not, they will be getting letters of termination.
On the heels of claims that a new PP civic government has started a witch hunt of persons who worked under the last government, Mr. Scheer is assuring that the new government does not want to deny anyone the right to earn a living. But the political appointees, she said, need to leave.
There is what is standard, what they call standard operating protocol in parliamentary democracies. And that is when a government change and your political appointees, no matter what your name is, you step out. Gracefully, you collect your benefits, you collect what you're entitled to, and you wait for the next election. That's how it works.
As we have been reporting, some senior and junior officials at the Office of the President have complained that they have been asked to resign with no details being provided about their possible benefits if they resign. Yesterday, a number of senior officials who worked under the last government were locked out of the compound of the Office of the President when they returned from their lunch break. The governance minister also brushed aside a warning from PNC leader and former President David Granger about the way the government was going about its business. She said the PP civic government will not be fazed by any threat or statement coming from the former president. Leader of the Liberty and Justice Party and former Taoiseach Lennox Schumann is calling on members of the Indigenous community to be patient with the new government, following complaints about underrepresentation in the new cabinet. The only Indigenous person in the new cabinet is the Minister of Amerindian Affairs, Pauline Sukai. In a statement, Mr. Schumann said he has received an avalanche of messages and calls from Indigenous citizens expressing their dismay with the representation in cabinet. He said the one person in the 23-member cabinet means it is just 4% of the cabinet. Some of those complaining reminded Schumann that the last government had 4 Indigenous citizens in its cabinet, and they were all in senior positions. But the LJP leader, in response to the criticism from the Indigenous community, said President Irfaan Ali has repeatedly committed to an inclusive government with adequate representation from all races and segments of society. Schumann said the president has started his term in office at a blistering pace towards accomplishing his promises, and therefore the Indigenous people should allow time for the full administration to be appointed. Schumann also said he is sure that the president's sensitivity to the Indigenous peoples will be demonstrated in his consultations moving forward. In his first gazetted order since taking office, President Irfaan Ali has stripped the Commissioner and CEO of the Lands and Surveys Commission of the power to issue and approve land leases. That power is now back with the President himself. In the published gazetted order, President Ali has revoked the powers which were transferred to the Lands Commissioner under the last government. It was back in 2016 that President David Granger delegated the powers to the Commissioner of the Lands and Surveys Commission. That order read that the Commissioner of the Guyana Lands and Surveys Commission is deputed to exercise on behalf of the President the functions relating to the sanctioning of renting and granting of leases, license, and permission of occupancy of all public lands, government lands under the meaning of the Lands Department Act, and state lands under the meaning of the State Lands Act, which were conferred on the President by the Lands Department Act and the State Lands Act. The PPP had strongly criticized that move. Still, the former government went ahead with the plan. Back in 2019, the PPP had also accused the Lands Commissioner of leasing large plots of land to supporters of the APNU-AFC coalition. But the Commissioner, Trevor Benn, fired back and proved that most of the leases that he was granting had already been approved under the same PPP government that was complaining. Ben is credited with turning around the Lands and Surveys Commission by modernizing its system, remapping the country using the latest technology, and making the entity financially viable. Well, let's tell you now that the new Minister of Housing and Water has indicated that he intends to do his best to ensure more house lots are made available to the people of Guyana. Minister Colin Kroll told News Source that he is aware of the many issues facing the housing sector and the needs of the population.
The housing sector is an important driver for part of our economy because of the construction. And the approach that I'll bring to that sector is to work towards to ensure that we keep to our commitment to the people of Guyana, our manifesto commitments. And we did promise to the people of Guyana ensuring that we make more house lots available, working with various sectors, especially the private sectors, to have partnership and to have development in the economy. Of course, trying to have that regime whereby more young people can be able to have that opportunity to own homes. And of course, it's water too, not only housing. And we did commit that we work towards ensuring we have much more safer water delivery right across the country.
President Irfan Ali is a former Minister of Housing. It was under his watch that several new housing schemes and projects were developed. Kroll said he will be relying on the President's expertise in the housing area to guide him.
I come with an advantage whereby that my president, that's the sector he came from. And so, in fact, there was a joke that he knows every graveyard under the housing program. And so I can, so when he gives me an objective, I can rely on him in terms of what direction that he wants me to go. But of course, I have to work with the team in the ministry. I have to see what is there. I have to relook, especially. I do plan to take special attention to the central housing area. I mean, there have been all complaints about approvals of plans, sometimes the length of time it takes, the bureaucracy and so forth. So we want to reduce all of that, but to ensure that we stay within the confines of the law.
There are hundreds of backlog applications for house lots dating back to more than 10 years ago, before the last government. While efforts were made to reduce that backlog under the APNU AFC, the number of applications also kept piling up. Across the Region is coming up next.
We give thanks for real. You spend all that money on your watch. How much time you spend with your son? So much money in the club. How much you spend with the ones you love? The simple things are your blessings.
Cheese, please. Remember Tyrus Riley, this one we aim to please. The music will never ease. Cheese, please.
They've made a positive impact on the heavy-duty transportation industry in Guyana since they've arrived. Guyanese are amazed at their power, durability, efficiency, and superior handling capabilities. These are brand new trucks, manufactured in partnership with German, Italian, and French companies. They have a powerful reputation for operating under very adverse Guyanese conditions and come with full after-sales service and spare parts. They're the most sought-after trucks today, with over 500 units in Guyana, and they're available in over 100 countries, including South America and the Caribbean. Be smart. Buy brand new ST Howo trucks today. Call 608-4998 and arrange for an inspection at ST Truck Guyana Incorporated, Block B, Public Road, Covenant, East Bank, Demerara.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
The following is an important message from the Ministry of Public Health. Getting your workplace ready for COVID-19. Surfaces such as desks, tables, and telephones with keyboards must be wiped with disinfectant regularly, or at least every few hours. Use containers of hand sanitizers and place them in prominent places around the workplace. Provide access to places where staff can wash their hands with soap and water, and promote regular hand washing at the workplace. The Ministry of Public Health has a hotline to provide information on the coronavirus. Members of the public can call 227-4986 or 624-3067.
Across the region right now, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in the U.S. has recommended that Americans avoid all non-essential travel to Jamaica, as it says the risk of the virus is high in that country. Jamaica yesterday recorded 30 new cases, pushing its total to 958. The U.S. has more than 4.9 million cases of coronavirus, with more than 160,000 deaths. In Jamaica, some 745 persons have recovered, with 149 active cases on the current observation. The U.S. has more than 3 million active cases. The CDC in the U.S. says older adults, people with certain underlying medical conditions, and others at increased risk for severe illness should consider postponing all travel, including essential trips to Jamaica. Lease Administrator Cleveland Seaford has given creditors just over a week to submit claims and people holding company property to return them and those owing money to pay up. According to Seaford, any person having a claim against Lease, whether liquidated, unliquidated, future, or contingent, is required to present particulars of their claim in writing to the administrator not later than the 15th of August. Seaford, who was appointed by the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court on the 24th of July, said the business, assets, and affairs of the company are under his control, and he is an agent of the company and acts without personal liability. The administrator has also said persons holding any property or documents belonging to the company should deliver those documents to the administrator. And finally tonight, international news. An Air India Express plane with 191 persons on board crashed at an airport in the southern state of Kerala, killing at least 16 people. The Boeing 737 en route from Dubai skidded off the runway in rain and broke into two after landing at the Calicut airport, aviation officials said. The flight was repatriating Indians stranded by the coronavirus crisis. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said he was pained by the plane accident. A lawmaker from Calicut told the BBC at least 16 people died in the crash. Most of the persons on board have been evacuated, with dozens of them taken to hospitals with serious injuries, the authorities have said. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. Gordon Mosley reporting.